Hey guys, what's going on? This is Kyle at ProjectionHub, and today I'm going to be talking about what are 3 don'ts when writing a business plan for an SBA loan, especially if you're planning on starting a business. So this is going to be a brand new business plan. You're going to need SBA loan, hopefully to get it funded, whether it's an SBA microloan or a 7A loan or whatever that's going to be. The point of this video is going to be 3 things I would avoid doing when you're writing that business plan. Now, of course, there is a longer list of things I wouldn't do, but for the sake of making a short video short, I'm going to focus on just 3. And so, as I mentioned, my name is Kyle, and here at ProjectionHub, I help our clients with custom business plans. So we, write dozens of business plans for customers, including the financial projections. ProjectionHub has helped more than 50,000 small businesses and startups create projections and write business plans for a number of different uses, like SBA loans and raising investment and internal planning. And before my time with ProjectionHub, I was an SBA loan officer for nearly 7 years. And so in that role, I was helping startups, small business owners, reviewing their business plans, collecting their documents, putting together a package to take them through the underwriting process. And so, I was kind of on the other side of the table of the thing I'm talking about. And so, if at any point in this video, you've got questions about, your business plan, preparing for an SBA loan in general, then please don't hesitate to reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com or leave a comment down below the video. We answer questions down there as well. So if at any point you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We've got lots of videos about applying for SBA loans, writing business plans, creating projections, growing a business, you name it. And so we would love to share more of our content with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into what are 3 don'ts when writing a business plan for next. Alrighty, here we go. I just, for the sake of having a background up while I was talking about this, I've got our free SBA loan application checklist. Assuming you're writing a business plan for an SBA loan, you're probably preparing for an SBA loan application process. This checklist has got things like what documents do I need and how to find a lender and what type of loan and links to all those resources. So you can grab a copy of this down in the description below. But the first thing that I want to talk about, so we're talking about 3 things you should not do when writing a business plan for an SBA loan. And so the first one, I'm going to open up one of our free, this isn't like throw you a bunch of free things. That wasn't the point of this video, but I'm using one of our free business plan templates. We've got 50, 60, 70 industries for free business plan templates. And I have the med spa one open right now, just to have something to demonstrate, show you some examples. But the first thing I would do is don't forget to talk about yourself. So a lot of people think when they're writing a business plan, it's all about the business. And that's rightfully so, because a lot of times startups and business owners, they view the business plan as, well, 1, I'm only doing this because I was asked to. And 2, okay, well, they just want to know everything about the business. So that's what I do here. It's the business plan after all. And that, I guess, is understandable coming from that perspective. But especially if you're a startup SBA loan, the lender, a lot of times people think the lender cares the most about what the business will do, the actual plan for the business, which that is obviously important. But especially for a startup, actually the thing the lender cares the most about is you. They want to know things outside of your business plan, like what's your credit score and your net worth and all that kind of stuff. And that's obviously going to play a really big role in an SBA loan for a startup. But more importantly, I would say, as it pertains to the business plan, is they want to know, like, do you know what you're doing and do you know what you're getting yourself into? So this business doesn't exist yet. And so largely they're making their decision based off of their confidence in you, their belief in you, that you know what you're doing, and then that they think you have a good plan on top of it. So that's really what it comes down to. And I think a lot of times people are a little shy for a couple of reasons. 1, they might not feel super confident that they have the experience necessary to do this. And so if you do lack relevant experience working within the type of business you would like to start, so maybe using the med spa, like, have you ever worked in a med spa? Have you ever managed a med spa? Have you ever owned a med spa before? If the answer is no to all those questions, then you have to shift to, well, what transferable skills do you have? Are you familiar with running a business at all? Have you managed people before? Have you worked in retail services before? Have you worked in marketing before? These different core competencies that a lot of times a successful business owner needs. So don't forget, if you have that type of relevant experience or those relevant skills, you need to talk about those in your business plan. And I would recommend doing that quickly in the executive summary. So you can do like an ownership background or like owner background or owner experience. Do a little insight into that. And then when you get down into the section where you're actually talking about the team and the management, operations and management, then you can talk even more about yourself. So that's one thing that I would say, don't do this, is don't forget to talk about yourself in your business plan. I know it's the business plan, but you are a part of the business. And if you're a startup, you are the biggest part of the business. And to circle back and give you a little bit more hope when it comes to the being capable as your experience and your skill set. If you feel like you're lacking, maybe you don't quite know what you're doing or you haven't done this before, supplement your experience. The way you do that is by first try adding a partner to the business. So maybe you have a friend who did manage a med spa for 5 years and they would like to join and open this new one with you. Or if they don't want to be an owner, maybe they've at least committed to coming and managing the med spa. That's a way you supplement your experience. So then you can focus on, okay, what skills do I have that will be relevant in running this business? And then I've got this person, I've got a right-hand man that is familiar with the actual operation of the med spa. That's going to give lenders a lot more comfort that you have a team that knows what they're doing. So that's going to be key point number one, is don't forget to talk about that. Your relevant experience and skills and your teams, if it's not all you, put that in your business plan. Number two, and that is do not half bake the financial projections in the financial plan. So what are we talking about? Let's go down just to that section. Just to give you an example, you can see how the financial projections are integrated. We got some charts and graphs and our expenses, and we've got our financial statements in here. You have to have financial projections. If you're a startup, especially, even if you're an existing business, if you're expanding or acquiring something, you're going to need to have financial projections, but you need to make sure that they are realistic, accurate, and within industry norms, and they need to cash flow. I mean, those are probably the four main things. So how do we do that? Let's tackle accurate first. How do we know if they're accurate? Either paying someone to do your projections or using a tool like a projection template, which I'm using one of our gym financial projection templates. You can see my face is kind of covering it, but you input some information on these blue tabs and just these blue boxes, super easy to use. And then it's going to spit out all these beautiful charts and tables and graphs automatically for you. This was built by a CPA on our staff, free support. The whole point is it's trying to make it, not to say you're a dummy, but it's to make it dummy proof. That's the whole point of using a template. So that tackle is accurate. Whatever you at least put in there, the calculations are going to be accurate. The balance sheets are going to balance. All of that stuff is going to make sense. So then next we want to do is realistic. And let's couple that with within industry norms. Okay, so we can trust that the calculations are working properly, but now we just need to make sure, like, does this even make sense? Like, is this going to work? Do I believe these projections? The best way to do that is, well, one, use a template like this because it's going to be pre-filled out and give you a nice starting point. And then two, it comes with all of these great key financial metrics that we can go out and benchmark them. And by that, I mean nothing other than going to Google or using a tool like ChatGPT or whatever. And I put in here, what are some financial benchmark numbers for a startup gym, like average profit margin? Okay, so profit margin, 10 and 20%. Closer to 5 to 10% if it's early stages. Now, again, I could go Google that, find the same thing. Let's come over here and look at our projections. Our profit margin, we're losing money in the first year, very common, 12%, 19%, 23%. That's within range. Okay, so we know that that's pretty realistic for the industry. You can do that same practice with any industry, just benchmark that against what's actually realistic for the industry to be able to back up your projections. So don't half bake the projections. Don't just put in the numbers of, we estimate we're going to have $300,000 in revenue and we're going to make $100,000. Don't just say that in a business plan. You need to demonstrate. You need to actually run those numbers. And then the last one is called debt service coverage ratio, which your projections will help you calculate. But that's just a key number a lot of times that lenders are looking at internally. They want to make sure that if the business goes according to plan and within a reasonable amount of margin for error, that you're going to be able to actually pay back the loan. So, a lender might want to see that your debt service coverage ratio is going to be 1.25 or higher, which means basically you're going to generate $1.25 for every dollar of debt that you have to pay back, right? So there's going to be money left over to actually pay back the loan. That's what your lender is going to be looking at when they see that. So that's number two. The things you don't want to do is don't half bake your financial projections. It's worth paying for it and trying hard at them. It's the basis of everything in your business, behind you personally. And then three, don't underwhelm or bore the reader. So you want to be a little bit of a Goldilocks in your business plan. Now, this is going to be a little cliche, a little generic, because obviously it's a big thing. It's a big business plan. We don't want our business plan to be too long. We don't want it to be too short. We don't want it to be all a wall of text. We also don't want it to be an entire gallery of pictures. Got to have that nice balance in there, right? We want to break up the text with some charts and graphs and different things like that. Now, this is a free template, so it doesn't have great examples in it, but you want to mix that up. I really like the probably 15 to 30 pages. 30 pages is getting a little long unless it's like, again, pictures for items you're selling and that kind of stuff. But if you're getting up above that, that's going to be a lot to read, especially if it's primarily text. You want to jam pack the executive summary with really important information. You don't want to talk longer than is really necessary. So basically, we want the business plan to make the lender excited and confident rather than like tired and feel like, okay, well, this is just another whatever. This is just another med spa. So a good example we've already talked about doing that is really making them excited about your personal experience. You talk about that right out of the gate in the executive summary. So then they have the perspective of like, oh, this person knows what they're doing. That changes the whole way they read the business plan. Or in the executive summary. So if you've put in, say you've done your work on the financial projections and they're really good, then in your executive summary, you can put a little financial highlight and say, our financial projections are detailed, we believe our debt service coverage ratio is going to be this, this, and this. And we estimate we're going to have this much money with this amount of margin error. Then your lender's going to be like, oh, that sounds like a pretty good plan, right? So that helps them give the context when they're reading through the rest of the business plan that they might be more excited about it rather than waiting to read those things later on and not even knowing if you're going to go into detail in a way they would like them to. So that's the third thing I would say. Without going into my own boring amount of detail, we've got a lot of other business plan videos that I think would help you accomplish that third one. But yeah, first one, don't forget to talk about yourself. Second one, don't half-bake the financial projections. And third, don't underwhelm or bore the reader. If you have any questions, reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. We'd be happy to answer questions about your business plan, your projections, or your SBA loan. And yeah, like the video if this was helpful for you and subscribe to the channel.